I've grabbed a bag of chips because I am well awake in my sorrow. Also, then I paired it with this lovely rooibos tea, which is healthy, so you can see that my emotions are all over the place. My name is Peng and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I guess you could kind of know what I'm about to talk about in the title of this YouTube video, but basically Janay and I have created a podcast and it came out a couple months ago and we were so excited to talk about our stories and share it with you guys. But before we get started on this video, make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can become a part of the Penguin family. Yes, it's a lot of fun. We do a lot of really fun, weird things here. It's very random. Really, it's just random. Our podcast was called Ambition on Fleek, and we basically talked about the mental, emotional, and physical side of gymnastics. We wanted to inspire and motivate you through our unique stories because Janay's story is completely different from my story, but we learned a ton through it. So we had a lot of fun going into the studio. We had so many ideas, so many topics that we wanted to talk about because it is really easy to see really successful people and where they're at, but you never hear about the backstory, about how they got there, what they actually struggled through. So Janay and I want to share those stories because we've had our fair share of struggles. We've also had our fair share of emotional roller coasters and ups and downs. So we wanted to share those with you. Unfortunately, we did not have an episode come out last week. If you follow Janay talked about it a little bit, but basically we decided to put our podcast to a halt. The studio and Janay and I decided that the podcast was just not going to where we wanted it to. And also I think the amount of effort and time we put into this podcast, it just didn't read. Yeah. So there were a couple things that were going on with this podcast. One, Janay and I are not in the same country, so it was really hard to get together and to collaborate and also record the podcasts. Two, maybe it just was our target audience that wasn't, we wanted to talk a lot to gymnasts, to young athletes. Maybe they just don't listen to podcasts. It's a 45-minute show, and Janay and I could talk for a long time, so for us, it was like, yeah, podcast. But for you guys, it might have been harder to listen to. I don't know. We were really upset when we heard that we should put it to a halt because we were so passionate about this. Maybe Ambition on Fleek, the title didn't work. Maybe it was just the podcast idea. Maybe it was our content. Who knows what happened? That is the beauty of business. We weren't getting the streams and the numbers that we needed to continue the podcast. We were putting so much effort into it. The studio was putting in a lot of time and effort, and we just weren't getting the results that we wanted or needed, especially just for brand deals and just that
podcast life.
Yeah. We talked to a lot of people and they're saying, you know what? People fail. People will go try things and it not work. And it's okay because you learn something from it. Janay and I learned a lot. Maybe it wasn't right for you guys, for our audience, but I'm trying to look at it as a win because I'm still really proud of ourselves that we even tried to do the podcast. I'm so thankful that we had the studio backing us up and they helped us so much. They were amazing. The feedback that we got from our podcast, from some of you who did listen to it, it really touched our hearts when you guys reached out and said it really helped you and it really helped you get through those hard times. We talked about how to stay positive, how to stay motivated on a daily basis, mental blocks. Our podcast is not completely thrown out. Yes, it may have stopped. It is still on Stitcher, Google, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. So if you still want to listen to it, you're more than welcome to listen to that podcast. It's also here on my YouTube channel if you don't want to listen to it. There's also a visual of what we talk about. But at first I was really, really upset. And I think if you talk to Janay or I, we were both really upset because of how passionate we were about relaying this message to you. So, Janay and I actually discussed a little bit and drum roll please. We want to do a honestly segment because her last name is Honest, my last name is Lee. We basically want to continue this conversation and maybe do it in short little episodes and not long episodes. On my YouTube channel, I post every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. PST time. Get that right. And every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time and 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna write it down so it's easier. I figured since the podcast is no longer on Mondays, that I would do an Honestly segment on Sundays. So just to get your week started, just to have a food for thought, post a video on Sunday so that you guys can watch it, and then take any of our tips and tricks throughout the week so you can practice it during your training or during practice hours. If you have any suggestions or topics that you want us to start off with, please comment down below. If you would like to join the Penguin family, you are more than welcome to join the Penguin family. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button, make sure to like the video, and spread word about this new Honestly idea. I know Janay and I are in 2 different countries. I don't care. You're thinking, oh, we should wait till we're in the same country. I completely agree with that idea, but I also think that the conversation needs to continue, and I also think that there is a way for us to do it, and it's just a new way for us to figure out how to run our YouTube channel, how to create business, and so it's super interesting being in this space now. I'm actually really excited that you guys get to watch us grow. We talk about this on our podcast. All of you are growing with us, and you are seeing us not achieve some of our goals. But what we learn and what we can talk further about is that there is no such thing as failure. If you want to learn more about that, you're gonna have to stay tuned every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. PST. No, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Did I say 3 p.m. PST time? It's confusing. It's fine. East Coast, 6 p.m. West Coast, 3 p.m. I also do want to give a shout out to all those people who have had successful podcasts. I understand now why there are a bunch of entrepreneurs and all their businesses don't work, because it is so hard to create a business. Janay and I are still so passionate about talking about the emotional, physical, and mental sides of life through our gymnastics experiences. So we do want to continue, and I kind of want to call Janay right now because I've told her about this idea, but I haven't really told her about this idea. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. For all of you ambition on fleekers, now you guys are going to be Honestly people. So we're going to honestly talk about these topics and what we want to give to you on our tips and advice on everything that we've learned from gymnastics and that we're learning still now. All right, Penguins, we will see you. Let me try that again. Penguins, we will see you next time.